I'm the fuck out. I didn't even get started on what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Bro, that movie was crazy.
Crazy, Frankie. Yeah.
What are the specials tonight?
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Hey everybody, Specialists in Nothing, back at you again, talking about everything, specializing in nothing. My name is Frank. As always, Joe and Danny, you guys want to say what's up?
What up? What up?
How you doing?
Y'all got
No, I was just gonna say, Danny, it seems like you are actually solo in this episode.
If I was one of those kids, I would let him tickle my balls.
Ooh, why? To get the money?
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Right.
Michael Jackson money to tickle your balls as a child. Fuck am I gonna? You think I'm gonna really remember it?
So you
All
don't
right,
actually
so
met him
listen,
as a kid?
I'm gonna tell you now. If you're gonna get into it like this,
Well, bro, you
let's
want to
just
talk
get
about
this
Michael
part
Jackson?
of it over because I'm not
Alright.
dealing with this. I'm talking about the
Bro.
better parts.
Why
I'm
do
not
you
gonna
love
sit
him
here.
so much? Like, why
What,
is he
he's the
so
king of pop.
idolized?
What other better things is there to say besides he was the king of pop? He was the best
like-
to do it, the best at it.
Besides
the
the
greatest
music he
thing to
made
say
being
about
so
it.
good, like,
It's
yeah,
all the
what is
controversy
so great about
behind
it?
that. There's a lot to talk about
Because he
beyond
was
that.
even
Really?
not the bad stuff and not even like the good music stuff. He was just kind of a weirdo in general too, and that's mostly because of his parents or his dad probably. But
Why
like
was he weird? Why was he weird?
he was just
Tell me
weird.
why,
Like
though.
he was like
Why?
because
Just
he never
because
got to have a
all that
childhood.
money because he has
He
all
never
the
got to
no
have a childhood.
toothbrush.
He was
Bleached
always
his
being trained to
skin.
be a musician,
bleach
and like so
white.
he was just like this child trapped in an adult body, and then yeah, he did all the weird shit that like he was gonna start saying.
The
Like
thing with his nose, okay,
Okay,
so
wait,
that he could
real
hit
quick.
higher notes and sing
More to
better.
There's
but
so much more to
Yeah.
this. He has a disease called vitiligo, which means
Vitiligo.
vitiligo, which removes all the melanin from your skin.
The pigment.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like.
I mean, he looked pretty good up until he did the bleach
speed up the
thing. It wasn't
process
really
and, like,
Also,
affecting
he's
him.
not allowed
like,
plastic
he did it so
surgery.
he didn't have like
Yeah,
spots,
that
and like
was
he sped it up to make himself.
He was a good-looking black guy, man.
I mean, I don't know.
He's
He
on
was
recording.
just he was weird.
We are.
He was
Yeah.
weird.
I don't know. I can't.
So
Oh.
here's the thing with that. I think that he had gotten plastic surgery because as he was growing older, besides vitiligo, how do you say?
Ligo?
Lagos.
Vitiligo.
We don't
Because of
specialize
that,
in this stuff,
his-
so we don't know.
His pigments were turning white, and I guess maybe he did bleach his skin to fucking hurry up the process. I really don't know. I don't
Yeah,
believe
I think
he
he
did,
didn't want
but
the spots and like the the different
could be it.
colors.
Yes.
but as far as like plastic surgery goes, everybody in Hollywood gets plastic
No,
surgery.
it's not really so
But
much the
most of
plastic
them look
surgery that's
weird.
I know.
weird. It's just
What
the
I'm
way
trying
he
to get
made
at
him
is-
his appearance. He like specifically wanted that distinct look.
Oh, he went
And
from
it's
a
just
good
not
looking.
normal, right?
He went from a good looking black man to a skeleton
Right.
looking.
He didn't get
weirdo.
better. He
No,
got
you
worse.
guys-
Yeah.
Okay, time out because there's like a long period, probably a decade before that happened, where he went from thriller to bad to dangerous, and
Right.
that whole time he was looking relatively normal.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
reason
He
why
went.
he
He was
chose
from a
to
good
do
looking black man
The reason
to.
why no, he wasn't even that though. He started to feel like he was looking more like Joseph, his father, who he didn't
Look
want to be
like me.
reminded of. So,
okay.
so he started to get plastic surgery.
He humiliated him.
See,
too.
that's
He
what I'm
beat
saying.
him the
That's why
most.
he was
It's
mentally
decorated
weird.
history with this shit. It's
That's
like
why
very
he-
extensive.
Yeah, but that's why he was definitely weird a little bit because, like I said, his dad, like all the stuff, the trauma and stuff that he faced when he was younger, like that affects people mentally, as we know. Like that's just something that is inevitable at that point. So
More with his behavior as well.
it's not saying
More
that he
to
didn't
it.
have a good reason, but he definitely was off. He wasn't, normal.
He had a really fucked up. He didn't have a childhood, dude. He was Jehovah's Witness. They didn't celebrate birthdays. They didn't celebrate Christmas. They didn't show
Performing,
love.
you know.
I didn't know he was a
He didn't
Jehovah's
get it
Witness.
right.
They would beat him
they would
hard,
beat him.
wild. He apparently the father also is the father's like one of the bigger piece of shit like music fathers ever. Like you propel your kids to such godly levels of success, but at
Yep.
what cost kind of thing. You know what I mean? Other artists are like that too, but he's one of the obviously the king of the king, essentially, for lack of a better term. But anyway, from everything I've read for funsies in my life about this Jackson's up and down, including the movie, which is great, by the
Which
way.
movie?
The
Oh,
VH,
Jack-
the
okay.
TV movie that was amazing, which I have at home. But anyway,
That doesn't surprise me.
would it ever? The father also, I was reading things by like Latoya, the older sister, and Rebe, the oldest sister, how like he would always like molest them and stuff, and people would argue Michael Jackson's doing the same thing by repetition. You know what I mean? That's what he did
Wasn't
as
the
well.
uncle?
It's like a
in on
disease
that
too. What happened?
I believe from like one of the documentaries or something, like his brother said like the uncle was molesting them too or something like that. So it wasn't
maybe,
just
I
like
don't
the
know.
dad.
But he
But
was
I
really
mean,
messed up. Michael Jackson would defend his behavior because he was like grew up in the deep South with probably like those psycho Southern parents from like 1850. You know what I mean?
that's what would make sense on why I think part of why he would do it though, like because a lot of
Rigid
people that go
rules.
through trauma like that do the same trauma, and he really did have the money to cover up whatever he wanted. He had fuck you money, like whatever I want, I could do whatever I want money. Like he really did.
Yeah, but it was really extreme whatever he did to his face. Like he just chipped away and chipped it. Like he looked really good with even a lot of it around like that, I think, in that era. You know what I mean? He was still very, I thought, and that's subjective,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah,
if you think he's
definitely,
good looking. But you know what I mean? Obviously, I agree with all you guys. He was a really good looking guy always. And then like he got scary looking. He did. He did it to himself, and I think it goes way beyond the skin. That for me, the surgery is the biggest thing, and I know what goes behind it. It's like psychological horror.
They say that
really drive
plastic surgery is addictive too. So like he could have gotten the first thing in the way like you were talking about, D, but then he could have just kind of got addicted to plastic surgery too and been like, oh, well, now I want to do a little of this, and now I want to get this too, and oh, what about a little
like never
bit?
being happy with what you see, like you know this
Right.
you know.
Absolutely, especially if like what you're saying, he was reminded of his dad by when he was looking at himself. And he's like, no, this is him over here too.
He's also said to Michael, he's like, oh, look how big your nose is.
Frank.
Thank you.
He goes, look how big your nose is to Michael. Apparently this was said. I read this in multiple places that he said this, like from Michael, look how big your nose is. He didn't get that from me. Like he used to say that to him like when he was a kid. You know what I mean? Like that's wild shit.
He was abusive during interviews when he was younger and shit.
Yeah, dude. You know what the first thing he said on camera, at least when Michael Jackson died? Oh, the money's got to run out at some point. That's what he said.
It's fucked up.
Like
That's
when he died, like the day later.
That is pretty fucked up.
Wild shit.
That is crazy.
You all know all of our problems come from our fucking upbringing. So what do you think his is gonna look like? You know?
No, I hear you.
You know, that's just my opinion, but you know.
I always say too, think about like what it's like to be brought up in a fucking famous lifestyle, like in the light, you know what I mean?
And you're number one. You as a person are number one.
And look at all
God levels.
Not just him now, but look at all the child stars like Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, fucking any of them that like came up from when they were young. That was most of what they knew. Yeah, everybody's done like some weird, fucked up, stupid shit that they had to apologize for or something like that. So
Different culture too.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and again, like we said before, he didn't really have a childhood at all. But all right, D,
I can't really.
Go ahead,
listen,
go past it.
I keep my mouth shut because people say what they say. Whether I believe it or not, it's irrelevant. But I'm going to say that I'd like to believe that it didn't happen.
Because you look up to him as an idol.
You know, I grew up listening to his shit, like even in the womb.
I like to believe it didn't happen also, but it's just
so maybe I'm just, I don't know what the word is where I'm
naive.
Salty.
Perfect word for it, actually. Thank you. Maybe I'm just being naive about it and I'm choosing not to believe it because I did idolize him so much as a child. Like that's where I get all of my dance moves from, you know. That's where.
Well, you watch like everything though, like you've seen all the documentaries and everything too, right? So let me ask you this: just
about Finding Neverland.
Okay, but let me ask you this
because I just think that he's not allowed.
It was wild shit, dude.
Well, just because
so
I get that, but just because what you just said and everything like that, when you seen like the video of like all the locks on the inside of his bedroom and like this and that, like the stuff that he did have kids sleep, what do you think when you hear that then? Like what like when you're like, oh, I'd like to think not, like what do you think was then?
I don't know, bro. Disappointment, I guess. I just choose not to believe that part because I think that his good outweighs his bad in all it is. Think of
so
but that doesn't mean that he didn't do it. I understand. Listen, I agree with you. His good outweighs any of the bad, and his bad's pretty bad.
I agree with that. The bad's bad though, I think.
But like that doesn't mean just because you could outweigh the good with the bad doesn't mean that you just kind of put a blind eye to it. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna believe like it didn't happen. It did happen. Like things did happen. Maybe not exactly what everybody's saying, but bro, things happened with Michael Jackson. Like he went a little sideways, especially when it came to kids. His house, what do you call it? Neverland.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just he had like a weird way.
Activities. I know.
Well, the one interview where
please let me know when it's my turn. Sorry.
No, yeah,
not cutting anyone off. I'm just saying.
The one interview when he said though, and he was like, yes, like he said that he lets them sleep in his bed, and like they asked him about like, what about the parents? What do they think? And this and that, like when he was like openly admitting that, like I don't, yeah, like I agree. I don't think that there's no way nothing happened, but to me, I don't think that the good outweighs the bad, because besides his music, what good was there?
Okay, here's another thing. Let's just say in the beginning of this episode, Joe was like, he'd do it for the money, right? And then you said Michael Jackson has fuck it money. So now who's to say, and this kind of brings up a whole underlying factor that I believe in. Let's say he, just for the sake of argument, he didn't do it, right? Let's say he didn't do it, but he wasn't following what he was supposed to be doing with his contract when he signed his deal with the devil, and now they're just trying to decredit him and say that he's a child molester,
like what they did with Jim Carrey and the girlfriend and whatever. And
at that point, now they spread this rumor or this, tabloids all over the place. And then he does this Barbara Walters interview, and he's like, why would, think about it though.
I mean, if they were attacking him, that was a perfect thing to pick.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's the one thing he truly loves and cares about in the world is children.
To spin it that way, I get it.
Childhood. So now they're going to just take the one thing that he loves and turn it against him. And once you're labeled as something, regardless of whether it's true or not, people are just going to think it.
Now, I agree with you on that, because I agree with that theory too.
Right.
But let me ask you this.
Now, wait,
as a person,
that the family wasn't like, yeah, Michael Jackson, I'm starstruck. Take my child, go. Would I, in the future, leave my child with somebody? Probably not. For whatever reason, it's my child.
If it was Michael Jackson, you probably would.
Here's the thing.
No, I wouldn't.
Here's the thing.
He would. I'm saying, especially
I don't think he would happen.
I don't think I would, but I would go. I'd be like, fuck it, take me instead. Like,
we just know, right? Like, okay. Like, you stay home. I go.
You don't remember Thriller and Bad and Dangerous the way I do. Why do you get to go?
If he tries to grab my balls and touch my ass, I'm just not going to let it happen. Maybe for like 30 seconds, but like not
you say that now. But
here's a check for $10 million, dude. I bet this
check for $10 million and you get jerked off.
How about this? May I voice? May I voice?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if I don't want to cut anybody.
No, you're good. I want to rebuttal what Danny said, but go, because I know.
Okay, no, you can if you want. I didn't want to.
I know you were.
I wasn't actually done. I was going to finish with saying though.
Let him finish.
The family
probably
let the kid go. They had a great time, and then they were like, you know what? Let's fucking try to get some money out of the thing. They convinced the son or the daughter, whatever the fuck that happened. And they were like, look, you need to stick with the story. We're going to get a lot of money. And of course, he's got fucking money. He's Michael Jackson. So instead of him going to trial against it, he's like, fuck it. Just give them whatever they want to shut them up, because I can't have.
So it's more likely that parents would use their own kid to get money than somebody having some mental problems and doing something they shouldn't, because they had enough money to say,
you got to reword that. You got to reword that, because people will do a lot of fucked up shit for money.
I'm just saying though, like, it's not likely for parents to do something traumatic to their own kid for money just to benefit themselves, when the other option is
fucked up people in the
this
world.
Guy who had a fucked up, that's what I was going to say before. So this was my rebuttal. If you're a guy who had a fucked up childhood that you never got to have, now you have certain mental problems, you are a little off in certain things, you like to appreciate childhood, you love kids and this, that, blah, 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 but you are still a grown man. You're not married to a woman. You're having all these kids sleep over in your bed all the time. You don't think that there's no chance that there was something in his brain that was off to not tell himself no?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm just saying it. To me, there's no way that it did not happen. I agree with the Illuminati theory in the sense of like, or record label theory of whatever it was that could have hurt him. But this was just, I don't know. There was so many different things that they showed after.
A lot of demons, dude, from shit that we don't get. Do you want to say something?
Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
All right, look, here's my overall take, because you can get specific in a lot of directions. Okay. I, like many, have been researching him all my life, all our adult lives. Those of us who love him will watch a lot of videos about him, interviews. Yeah, he gets jabbed and attacked. And yeah, I believe deep down, personally, I'm going to try to sum it up as best I can, that I think he's a pure soul who had a fucked up life for the cost of super duper duper success. he said very publicly he had robbed of a childhood. Like Danny's right about all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they were Jehovah's Witnesses. They never had time for birthdays. He's like, I had no birthdays. We had no playtime. Like even in the movie, they depict it. And that movie was advised by like Suzanne DePass, who was Berry Gordy from Motown's assistant. And she was with them for years, like on the road. Like she knows all the ins and outs of how they grew up, how the dad treated him on the road, all his infidelities and shit, like all fucked up shit. You know what I mean? And the mom was just home cranking out kids. And the dad was mad dominant. And people ask, like, where was the mom when they thought things were going down with Michael Jackson or whatever? I'll get to that in a minute. My point is, I do think Michael Jackson's a pure soul. I do believe he has a sensitivity for children on a very human, godly human scale. I do. And that's why I think he's such a philanthropist. He went all around the world, gave a lot of money to charities, countries, starving everybody. He is like the fucking ultimate humanitarian on that thing. And I totally think that's real and genuine. I think that comes from the best place. And also because he came from such a fucked up situation, it's almost like the Thomas Wayne Foundation for fucking orphan kids, like being sensitive to like people that have been through what you've been through. You know what I'm saying? So far, all that. His super mega stardom fucks with your head. That would fuck with your head as any adult, if anybody can handle that level, let alone a 5-year-old who by your abusive father is saying, get it right, or you're gonna fucking not only smack you every minute, but like you're gonna live in fear of me in our tiny house with 8 brothers and sisters, and I'm the man. The dad was such a dominant force, apparently, that like he like literally made them. Michael Jackson said his presence would make me throw up. Like just his presence. You beat him, fucking phone cords and shit, all fucked up shit. Like, you know, not just for any human, but like for let alone a 5-year-old, and he was the youngest at the time, and he was the best. It's like, do it like Michael. So but I know from what I've read, I think that the pedophilia does exist. I feel like he repeats it. I feel like maids in the Neverland thing have said like they found like secret closets with things, and I don't think they're being paid to say that personally. I don't think current landscape, I'm not saying it's not fucked up. Social media interviews, people aren't out for money. People are more out for money than they've ever been. So anybody can talk shit about the biggest person in the world for an easy payday or whatever. And I understand that was the school of thought then, 100%. He's been controversial since the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he does, like you said, he does odd things. Any parent, even if they agree to it, and a lot of them from the documentary said they did. I sold my fucking kid out
off a balcony. Like what?
I mean, whatever he's doing, you don't know what he's thinking. Was he trying to kill the kid? You know, he's feeding into a media frenzy always. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that because the parents did want to get close and get paid, and they probably couldn't turn it down, and it was Michael Jackson, and they were probably thinking with their heads and using the kids, and the kids were okay with it. And I feel like those dudes came out now, even though Wade Robson, like, you know, was one of them, and he danced for Michael Jackson. People were like, oh, he just came out for a payday, but he said he was innocent at the trial. I believe it's like the Me Too shit with women. Like, some of them are probably just looking for an easy payday, and many of them are really too afraid to speak out because of power above them making them feel like they can't. So whatever. Yeah. So I think this is like that. I think people just don't want to think because it's guys that Michael Jackson, pedophilia doesn't have to do with gayness or anything. If you really are a pedophile, if he was, right? It won't matter. You just like young kids. It's a disease, like, or whatever, something fucked up. So therefore, yes, I would never drop my kids off and not think that he has a pure mind. He opens his bed. He thinks that's some like out there thing. He said this. I don't see anything wrong with that, but you don't know what's going on behind that bed and behind the closed door. It's not.
But that's what I'm saying. If he doesn't see anything wrong with that,
right? Just because he doesn't
think there's anything wrong with the thing that he's saying onto camera that he doesn't think is wrong, or that he thinks like, okay, so on camera he's like, no, yeah, I know that's not right. But I don't think there's anything wrong with them sleeping in my bed.
He also can get away with
my saying you really know that you don't think that. You're just saying that on the camera
because your power dictates.
Yeah, because people will freak out if you're like, this is okay.
He can do what he wants. He's larger than life, you know, and he always was. And that's the point. Well, there was a long time I thought there's no way he could have done anything to like little kids or whatever. I really didn't believe it after a while. Once I became like a teenager, I'm like, enough of this shit. People are just trying to sully his fucking name and fuck it up, right? But you know what? At the same time, after seeing the documentary, I think that people just don't want to believe what they don't want to believe, and you're entitled to not. But at the same time, I think that there's a lot of naivete out there. Naive people, like, I'm not talking about you just because you don't believe it. I don't want you to think of being insulted. I don't mean it like that. But my point is, like, just people in general.
Look at his face. He's been insulted this whole conversation.
I know, but he's going to choke me. It doesn't matter.
Listen, no, I'm kidding. You guys.
I'm just happy you're sitting next to him because he would always punch me.
But right. But look,
hero, we're ripping him.
Look, so I love Michael Jackson too, and I could separate the two. The music, what I love about him, does outweigh it in my book. But my point is the final point of my point is that I think that just because something is bad and people don't want to believe it about such a larger than life icon doesn't mean that something's not true just because the masses will condone that or sign off on him, or so half people will think he's a fucking weirdo who totally did it. Half of them will think not my Michael Jackson because look how much wonderfulness he's brought to this world, which is real, which is undeniable. So people sometimes just can't cope with what they don't want to believe, and a lot of people live in denial regularly in life. What do you think? This could be any different? Why would people want to lie just to get money? I get the money factor, but I think it goes beyond that. I think there's both. I think he was a wonderful guy who did fucked up things and thought they weren't. Maybe he believed that himself. That's just me. He's still Michael Jackson to me. I listen to and all the music tonight. I talk about him every day. I don't think about pedophilia. I just know that Neverland would have been dope to visit personally, and I would have been in there a heartbeat.
No, I agree with you on the music side of it too.
You can touch me the whole fucking time. I don't even give a shit.
Aside from that,
I don't care.
no,
Dude, that park is dope. You know he has cotton candy. You know it.
Aside from all of that last part though, but like the music side of it, I feel the same way to where like my sister says all the time, ever since the R. Kelly documentary came out, she's like, I can't listen to R. Kelly's music anymore. And I'm like, there's a couple R. Kelly songs like I love I Wish. I'm like, I can still listen to that all day and love it. But same thing with Michael Jackson. Like, even though I feel this way, I could still love and appreciate his music and listen to it. So on that note, I am going to say he did set and break a lot of records. So many boundaries in the music industry that he just set new limits, like just insane stuff. When you look up his fucking awards, so there's multiple years on some of these, like this page is like forever long. If I honestly sat here and just said, oh, so the awards by Michael Jackson,
stop it. It's like Michael Jordan, same thing.
It would get boring, and you wouldn't want to hear all these more than Michael Jordan. Like, dude, there's so many
industry. Yes, definitely.
There's so many.
How about he has the best-selling album of all time still, Thriller. Nothing has surpassed it. Nothing.
So I got something about this. These are my top 3 albums. I got some information on them.
We just talked about this recently.
Yeah. So Thriller was released in 82. It was his first number 1 album on the Billboard top charts. Thriller, it was on there for 37 consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
And number 1, right? And
we just 37 weeks.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if that's the exact number, but
I read that earlier. It was 37.
PYT, Human Nature. Those are like the classics.
Baby Be Mine was also a good one too.
Danny. Pick one.
One song? What is he asking?
Favorite Michael Jackson song.
I can't do that. I can't.
So I told this to Darren the other day. If I had to pick favorite album, I'm going with Bad. If I got to pick favorite song, I'm going with Remember the Time.
Okay.
Wow, that's your number 1 song. It's not even that.
I did not think that was a corny song.
What?
I love it. I love the dance. He said it's a corny song.
It's good, but like compared.
Fuck you, bro. Fuck you. What do you mean? You're just look. I know you both just trying to get in my skin, which is totally cool, dude.
I'm not. I'm just.
I was really genuinely just surprised how quick you answered one song. I thought it was going to be harder for you. I'm not going to be a dick.
I'm not a diehard Michael Jackson fan. I don't really. So like, I don't know. For me, it's easier to say these things. For you, it's like, oh God.
Dude, it's definitely not going to be your number 1 100% if you're not a big Michael Jackson fan. You'd go with something probably a little more classic.
Something more radio.
Yeah.
Thriller, number 1. My life always.
All right. What about you, Darren?
What favorite song?
Yeah, just one.
The other day we talked about our top 5 or top 8 or top 3 if it had to be.
This is just one.
I know, but this is hard. Top 1 album is already hard enough, even though it isn't now. But
if Danny could do it, just one song. What's your favorite Michael Jackson
song? What's the best Michael Jackson song, like overall?
All right, ready? How about this? I got a better idea. Don't think about nothing. Ready? I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Ready? Just answer first thing that comes to your mind.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
My father's a gynecologist and he looks at vaginas all day long. That little kid was from Full House, a little dipshit kid.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So don't think of nothing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Olive green.
What's your lucky number?
5.
What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Come on.
Like we weren't expecting that to come.
Now I know the answer.
I would have
like,
given you
where's
two
he
more
going
questions.
with this?
Joe had no idea.
I knew exactly where he was going with it, and like I knew I wasn't gonna come up with it. All right, give me a second. Seriously, if I had to be one song, it's either off Thriller. I don't know. This is so fucking hard. It's not Smooth Criminal as the number one song. If I had to be one, because I'm telling you the ones I love, and I'll have to rule them out. It's the best way to do it. Black or White could be there, but I still wouldn't put that as number one. Remember the Time is really up there. Okay, I really like also like Beat It, Billie Jean, but I can't even pick those because it's just like, all right, it's so
classic.
It's so classic because I don't even want it. Like I want the more like other picks, the more specific picks, my personal picks. Human Nature
is probably my second.
Human Nature's got to be top three. You know what? I would go with maybe Thriller.
Yeah, you're gonna pick Thriller?
If I had to go with one, I love Remember the Time even more than Thriller, but Thriller is Thriller. You know what I mean? And if it had, I don't want to pick Beat It, and I don't want to pick Billie Jean. And PYT is also really good. I don't know, man. Yeah.
All right.
Thriller. I say Thriller.
I agree with Danny on the album that if I was going to pick an album, I would pick Bad just because it had so many hits on it. But I also did like the Jackson 5 album. Like
that's different.
ABC, the Rock and Robin. Like I love those songs. Those are some of my favorites. But like that's not really just him. So yeah. But if I had to pick one song, "You Rock My World" is probably my favorite with him and Chris Tucker. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Love that song with him and Chris Tucker. I play that song all the time.
It's a good one.
Darren and I were talking the other day about this is what it was. It was our top 5 favorite choreographed videos.
Oh, that's true.
Because we both said Thriller was so dope as like a short film, which most of his videos,
many of them are, yeah.
But like Remember the Time has dope choreography.
Incredible.
Thriller has amazing choreography.
Smooth Criminal. Bad.
Yeah, they all do. The way you
Silly.
make me feel. It's so like in your face, very punctual, to the point, straight, tight. You know?
He definitely had a lot of good choreography.
He got his stuff from like James Brown, the Isley Brothers, a whole bunch of fucking.
Well, so I read this tonight too. I didn't know that he didn't make up the moonwalk.
Oh, tell me about the moonwalk. No, I don't think he did. I think he learned it from someone.
Do you know the name of the guy?
Dancer and singer Jeffrey Daniel was a member of the R&B group Shalimar, and he pioneered this dance move that he called the backslide. After he taught it to Michael Jackson, it became known as the moonwalk.
Wow.
Dang. What year?
So, kind of sounds like he ripped on his stuff and then renamed it and made it more famous.
I mean, look, this is not just defending him again, but this is what you do to create your style. You take a little bit of everybody else's style and you create your own, you know?
He also the guy did it in Billie Jean. It was part of Billie Jean, Dan. So maybe that's like, it's the moonwalk there. Clearly somebody did it first. That's
yeah. Well, this guy definitely taught it to him too. So it's not like he like stole it. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Michael Jackson, did he ever say that he invented the move? I don't know.
I think everybody just assumed that he invented the moonwalk because
maybe he's been open about like, I got it from this guy. I was inspired or something.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
I never heard that. I don't know, but yeah.
Me neither. I have no idea.
So Frank and I had a discussion because he thinks that Super Bowl of this year was the best it's ever been. And I think that Super Bowl when Michael Jackson performed the halftime show.
What are you talking about? The halftime show?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The halftime show?
With what? Dr. Dre and all that?
It was Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop,
I heard it was
50
good.
Cent.
I think
Kendrick Lamar.
Not saying necessarily that the performance was the best.
I don't like
but it was the best to me. Like I enjoyed it the most. I did go back and watch that one after you told me about it. And like, don't get me wrong, it was still an amazing performance. He's amazing, but even I still think that from that time to now, there was some other more amazing Super Bowl halftime shows besides his.
I can't speak to this as strongly.
I feel you on that.
Didn't Katy Perry come out like a dragon?
Yes.
That was
but like
fucking cool.
Justin Timberlake, like
fucking
amazing.
Janet Jackson's Tick came out.
Bruno Mars.
That doesn't get better than that.
Janet Jackson's the whole performance was still good too. But like, yeah, there's just been so many. The Rolling Stones one, Aerosmith, like there was so many good halftime shows besides just even Michael Jackson this year. So
no,
to say
I agree
with
you, but I'm saying I thought that his was the best because if you think about it, when he did Heal the World, he got the entire stadium to hold and flip up those cards that showed kids all over the world holding hands and shit. That's pretty powerful, and that's
no, it was definitely
bringing the world together. That's what got Danny's heart. That day.
I was just saying, it was definitely a cool message. Don't get me wrong, but like a lot of people feel the same way about Kendrick Lamar this year. I mean, I didn't, but a lot of people
the same way about what?
About his whole performance with like his whole message and everything.
What was his message?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel the same way, so I don't necessarily like get it the same way. But there was a lot of people that I know that said the same thing, like what you're saying about how it was all about bringing people together and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's another generational thing. He's our age. It's not that he's not Kendrick Lamar, but like what Michael Jackson did for the world versus like what Kendrick Lamar is doing for the world. You know what I mean? Like there's other strands of that conversation. Is all.
There's so many of them.
Like, you know, Super Bowl halftime, maybe. Like I'm not saying that doesn't mean there was never a more exciting show. I just don't know them that well.
He's right. There was a very good one. Madonna had a really good show a little while back. But I don't know. I just feel like when you can get the whole Super Bowl stadium to join you in a fucking performance, that's pretty dope. On top of it, he's done so much charity work. You know, like he was saying before, he's given to countries like millions of dollars that he's earned. A lot of the money from his tours went towards organizations. He helped I think it was like United Negro Fund for them to get into college.
United Negro Fund?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
From Deeds.
No.
Really? He asked, he's like, just give the $40 million to some charities. Like, which one? And Anderson goes, the United Negro College Fund or something. It's ridiculous. And then he does, and the guy flips back in his chair. Just that was a little note, was it? Yeah. The guy from the college is brilliant.
Now you're gonna make me look up what the fucking thing is, but he's
gonna look up the scene and play it.
No, not Big Daddy. No, the organization that Michael Jackson donated to.
Oh.
He did Heal the World, and he did We Are the World. That shit. What he got? Oh, Live Aid. And Live Aid or Band Aid? Live Aid.
No,
I think it was Rite Aid.
It's USA for Africa.
That's what it was. USA for Africa. Everybody got together. They sang a song and they had their pieces, and that's that.
We brought the world together, man. That's what Danny wants.
That's all I asked for.
Positivity.
So, Joe, what about Thriller do you like?
Music video.
Is it just the costumes and stuff? Because I love that shit. But
no, I love the whole music video. I love the lyrics. I love the song. I love the theme behind it. I love everything about it.
What? So I'm reading this.
That?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm done.
No, I wasn't paying attention, and then I just read this fact, and I wasn't even being considerate to whatever you guys were saying. I'm sorry. Are you done?
Joe, no. I believe Joe's.
No. I missed whatever it was. That's why I didn't know if you guys were really done talking or not.
I'm still going.
Did you? Oh, my God. Go ahead. Did you know that he wanted to be Spider-Man? So he filed for bankruptcy in the 90s because he tried to buy the company for Marvel Comics so that he could fulfill his dream to play the leading role of Spider-Man. However, it didn't go as planned, and Tobey Maguire stepped up to play Peter Parker instead.
Did you know true that is?
I didn't know that.
I'm just reading this thing. It said 25 facts about Michael Jackson.
I feel like if that was a real thing, a lot of us would have heard a lot more. I mean, I don't know. It's the first I'm hearing about it. But as such a big Marvel fan, I feel like if that was a fact, it would have been brought up a lot over the course of just all these Marvel.
I mean, he went bankrupt, so you could definitely fact check it. That's what it says anyway. So
I think
it says also. So number 3 says he refused to let his dream of becoming a Marvel superhero go. When the X-Men movie franchise was announced, he tried to nab the role as Charles Xavier, and the casting director thought otherwise, and this later went to Patrick Stewart. So he apparently really wanted to be a superhero, which would go with him like wanting to be, the whole childhood thing.
So what I see here is he did have a massive obsession with Spider-Man, and he did want to play Spider-Man, but the people who were making Spider-Man at the time, Sony, obviously went with Tobey Maguire, and they turned down his requests to
be Spider-Man.
That's so funny though. I never knew he wanted to be a superhero.
I mean,
You want to be a superhero? We talked about that a bunch of times.
That's not normal about him.
No, but
no,
like,
I know.
People want to be a superhero.
No, but that's just, I'm saying, as a music artist, I didn't know he was trying that hard to be an actor in a superhero movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, I wonder if he didn't die, if he would have
artists-
ended up being in like the Marvel series as some other character later on.
I don't think
Not
so.
one of the main
I mean-
ones, but like maybe not one of the main ones, but he could have done something like Ant-Man or something. Like, I don't know.
I don't think Michael Jackson would be a good superhero in a movie.
Why not?
so?
They could have made him something like in
Yeah,
Guardians
but
of the
like,
voice.
he's
Galaxy.
not, that's exactly
something.
His speaking voice is so like.
I was just gonna say, yeah, his voice is too soft.
Like for interviews in his Neverland Ranch, I think is perfect.
I mean, like, was he not in Men in Black 3?
Was he?
Oh yeah, he was.
Yes, he was for a minute.
He's right. Yeah.
Right.
For
They
a
could
second
do
in the
he
suit.
could do a cameo in a Marvel movie. I see
Oh,
it.
a cameo would be dope. He's
Yeah,
like,
he
"Please,"
moonwalk and
what's
kick
the guy's name?
fucking some bad guy in the face as they're all fighting.
like, Zed, when are you gonna make me a member? Come on, I could be letter M or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I totally forgot about that.
But that would be funny too. I could see him doing that in the Marvel movies, like him being himself. Like, come on, let me be an Avenger.
Yeah, that would be funny. So I told you this actually, and Frank too. I just recently saw the Michael Jackson on Broadway. I saw that yesterday. I'm sorry,
Yeah, how was it?
Oh yeah, how was it?
Dope, honestly. It was really cool. I didn't know what to expect going into it because I'm like, what the fuck? Are they just gonna do like another version of his story or like of his childhood and stuff? But it took me like the whole day to actually process it because I was gonna be a little biased about it going in. But the premise is basically it takes place. It's like maybe 5 days or a week in 1992, I think, or 1993, when Dangerous album premiered. He was going on world tour, and it's like you're in the rehearsal studio with him, and you're seeing the people do their dances, they're rehearsing and shit, and then he's on an interview with these I guess two people from MTV, and they'll interview him, and then like the lights will fade, they'll go back in time, and like other like smaller Michael or like teenage Michael, they'll play out certain things about it, and it kind of goes throughout his life. But the whole thing is basically him trying to push this tour on the Dangerous album so hard when he wanted like the jetpack and the jumbo lift, stuff like that. So it's kind of like the pressure of getting a tour done correctly, and then him battling his demons, and then him being pulled apart from like the tabloids and like his family and, you know, the media and shit like that. Also him trying to keep his composure and get everything done right because it's got to be perfect. So it digs into his life a little bit, like about the emotional side and stuff, but the performance itself was really fucking good. And like when I first saw it, I'm sitting there with like my arms crossed, I'm just watching, I'm enjoying it, I'm like clapping at the music and stuff, but I'm not like up out of my seat dancing. Some people were, which is pretty cool. So
That's kind of whack.
What?
If it's not making you want to dance.
Me personally,
you did,
but
I'm saying like
I don't know. I felt a certain way going.
It wasn't
into it.
doing that though, right? The show.
I mean, also I went with.
Well, it was playing his music though.
Yeah, they were performing.
They were playing his music from the Dangerous album or from everything.
From everything.
It was choreography.
Choreography.
Yeah.
He was
Sounds
singing.
good.
It was not, dude. It was really dope, and like reviewing it and letting it process.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was good. I would definitely
like. You think if you went to go see it again, you dance the next time
100%,
because you saw it already
100%.
and you know what's coming now.
It was
you
weird
wanted to
going
like
into
process and see everything and enjoy.
what to expect. Now I got to compare these three Michael Jacksons on Broadway to the one who I fucking know, you know? So it's kind of weird.
Gotcha.
They did a good performance.
Did you ever get to see him perform when he was alive?
No, but when he came out with the This Is It tour, I think I just graduated college, or I was graduating college in 2009. And I fucking told my parents, I said, I'm going to sell the car and I'm going to buy tickets to go to Europe to go to this fucking concert. And they were like, I think it's stupid, but it's your car. So do whatever the fuck you want to do. He wound up dying. He wound up dying.
Oh, yeah.
I could actually buy the tickets.
Damn, that's crazy.
I was tight because I would have fucking went.
I would have paid pretty much almost anything to go there, like within my budget.
Do you think that Doctor killed him? Let's get into that real quick. I'm curious because
I don't know exactly what happened.
What I know, I don't know if it. I think it was. I don't think it was like an intentional murder. No, I don't personally think so. I don't know the guy. I think there was mishandling and carelessness, probably.
What about you,
That's what I
Dan?
think.
So you're gonna think I'm crazy because I have all these theories and shit, but
I don't think you're crazy because I know I'm waiting for the wildest. First of all, tell me it was the Illuminati.
I
They
just
hired the
think
doctor and had him killed, right?
yeah, I just think that this doctor was the fall guy, and everything that happened was
Fall
kind of
guy for
built up
what?
to take the blame of this is who killed Michael Jackson. But I think that
But why? Whose decision was it for him to be the fall guy, and why? There has to be a reason. If there's a fall, for there to be a fall guy in a situation, any situation, it's got to be a setup.
okay, so
what was the
He
setup?
was-
Oh wow.
he was
So
exposed.
I didn't know what happened. Do you remember exactly what happened?
You want to tell him since you just read it?
I know, Frank. Let us know because now you read the fact.
Well, I'm just can this be my Frankopedia? No, so it says the
Frankopedia
cause
away.
of his death was from a fatal dose of lethal drugs administered by Dr. Conrad Murray, his physician. It wasn't clear if the drugs were administered on purpose, even though Dr. Murray denied it.
Propofol.
So before his This Is It tour, I think that he was doing press conferences and stuff, and he was kind of like preparing society for what he was going to show them. He had this crazy idea of like, you saw This Is It?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had this giant robot built and a screen around him, and it was basically saying like humanity is coming to an end if we don't all come together and do something, whether it was global warming or fires or destruction of the forest, shit like that. Like he was always trying to heal the world. And I think that he was going to expose a lot of the shit that was going on behind closed doors. And I think Conrad Murray was his doctor, and they paid him a little bit extra to put a little bit extra in his stuff. So he just didn't wake up. He had a pill problem because he was dealing with pain and shit. And I'm sure he was sleep deprived from everything he was doing. But Janet Jackson gets on an interview, and in one of the YouTube videos I saw, she said that she was on the phone with him, and he kept saying like, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. I don't even want to eat because I think they're going to poison me. And then
but think of how many people. Just think of a regular celebrity, not even at his status. Talking about a regular movie. Anything goes wrong or people don't like what they do, you know how much hate mail, death threats they get constantly. Now just think of the shit that he was being brought into the light for. So yeah, you don't think he was just paranoid that anybody in general was trying to kill Michael Jackson? He hung his child off the balcony. You know what I mean? Which that's the one thing he did that I kind of understand. He probably panicked, just like how Will Smith lost it at the Oscars. Sometimes the shit gets to you and you're like, here, you want to see something fucking crazy? You want to see something bad? Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's saying so much negative shit about you.
I agree with that.
Like,
So
he
he
wasn't gonna do
probably
anything
snapped,
bad,
man.
but just was
And
scared.
he had his kid and he grabbed his kid and he's like, here, now you have something to say about me. I'm hanging.
And he said so, Joe. 100%. He's like, I was not trying to kill my kid. I was just trying to it was to talk to me. It was to talk to me.
So think of all the death threats and just threats in general this guy got on a daily basis every day of his life for years. So maybe it got to the point to where he was like, yeah, like I'm afraid to fucking eat anything that anybody gives me that I don't know, because it could be somebody that just hates him for anything.
They said too, he was a very impulsive person. He was an impulsive buyer. Like, so yeah, he could have gotten that feeling after like having all this stuff coming in after whatever happened and just felt that way and called her. And it could have been a coincidence with everything that happened to make it look that way.
I think the simpler explanation to it was he was just a very skittish, nervous, panicked person. And that's why he was taking the propofol or whatever the fuck. I can't say it right now. Right.
I agree with that.
Michael
but I do think the doctor
and it's Michael Jackson, and he probably was just like, oh, I can't stand it, the stress, the this, the that. He's got tour dates, music, this one, that one. He had everything going on every minute of his life, and he probably just, you know what I mean? Not like he was threatening the doctor to give it to him, but he was probably like, just give it to me. You could see him just like, oh, just give it to me.
I agree that was.
You think that doctor is going to sit there and tell Michael Jackson no? A real doctor,
but I do
somebody
think that
should have, but
that's malpractice. Yeah,
I agree to part of what you're saying, Joe, but I do think that whether he was paid or did it himself or what accident or whatever, I do think that he did that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
You think
Like I do think the doctor did it on purpose. Whatever the motive was, I don't know. Like that, it could be a million things, but I do think, yeah, same way that I think that Michael Jackson did what he did. I just think that all the facts are there. That like you're a physician, you give how many patients a day medicine, you give like you give how many people this stuff all the time or whatever it is that you deal with. Like you should know your shit. So to me,
a doctor can justify anything. I'm
especially the one accident you would make. You would think that like when you're doing something to someone of that stature,
this is what I'm saying.
Maybe
it wasn't an accident, but he also didn't do it on purpose. You're a doctor.
That's what I originally said.
Michael Jackson's doctor.
Yeah, but you got to be on point.
Right, but obviously he just wasn't. You know what I mean?
That's what I
doesn't mean he's not feeling stress also from just being Michael Jackson's doctor, who you administer this guy deadly drugs.
I mean, there is also,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think
error is a real thing. Like it could just happen.
Maybe he knew like, oh shit, I'm going to give this to him and this is not going to be good. Maybe he did know, but again, he was probably so fucking pressured and also not thinking straight. And he did give him the lethal dose, knowing he was going to probably kill him, hoping that it didn't.
Yeah.
And it did.
Could be.
Yeah. So
I will say though, I have to say, like, out of all the bad stuff that I said about him, he was a very nice person. I met him.
I don't have anything bad to say about Michael Jackson.
Met him?
Even hearing
I was
everything.
12. What do you mean? I was 12 years old. I swear to God, I met him in person.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was my mom was working in the Forum Shops in Caesar's Palace at Bertolini's. It was an Italian restaurant. And I was there with her one day. She had to go in. My uncle was the chef and she was one of the servers. So she went in one day on her day off and she was like in the kitchen talking to my uncle for like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. And I'm sitting by like the end of the bar, like talking to the bartender that they knew and like just, oh yeah, well, my mom today, blah. And I look down and there's just like a crowd of fucking people coming down the Forum Shops. And every time he would walk in a store, they would wait for him to walk in. The bodyguards would go in, they would clear out the store. He would go in and they would close the metal gate behind him so no one else could go in the store like with him. And then like when he came out the store and was like walking past the restaurant, I like went out like by the crowd and I shook his hand and he was like, oh, hi, how you doing? And, like that was it. But he was very nice, very pleasant person. Like he was saying hi to everyone, millions, thousands of people walking up to him and still addressing every person, saying hello to everyone, shaking everyone's hand, which, dude, to do that 24/7, like you see a lot of stars freak out on camera, like get out of my face, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's
like,
annoying.
Not even
24/7.
Yeah.
So yeah, and for him, for the stature, and like when I met him, he was already like 8 years of being famous. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I have to say it was pretty cool. And it was nice. Awesome. It was really nice.
That's awesome. Dude, fame's a weird thing, period.
I do think that he liked
the biggest drug ever, and I believe it.
I do think that he liked being famous. And I think to be famous, you do have to enjoy being famous because like no matter what, you're a person and you're going to have moments where you're like, dude, just not today, please. But the people that like freak out on these paparazzis and that, you have to know what comes with that. You know what I mean? And if you want to be famous, it's going to come with that, like no matter what. So
you're the price. Price of fame.
I don't want to be fucking famous.
I do.
Frank wants.
Can't wait. He's like, so yeah, badly. I want to shake everyone's hand.
I want
everyone to like me.
And unfortunately,
I want the money. I don't want the fame.
If it happens, I'm with you, but I don't want to be fucking famous.
I can do my own thing. Yeah.
I will say hi to everyone,
but I don't really want that fame.
I struggle to get on at 8:30 to record with you guys. You think I'm gonna be able to hold a fucking scheduled plan to do shit?
No, we got an interview with the.
If we ever blow up and we have like oh, we got to get on the jet because we got to be there at this time. Where the fuck is Joe?
Guys, 10 minutes. I'm on the phone in the car in the parking lot.
He'll be in the stall taking a shit. Like, oh fuck, I'm boarding right now.
Yeah, that's actually true. Danny is terrible with flights. I forgot about that. You've than anyone I know.
Why? Because you relate.
I got drunk a few times. Like
Danny's called me from a bench.
That's funny.
Drunk. I missed my flight about 20 fucking times.
No, not 20. Legit, if I had to put a number on it, like missed a flight because I'd say 6, probably 7.
Wow,
That's a lot of flights.
That's a
lot of
Danny.
I know, dude. I
Future
know.
reference: if you ever book a trip with Danny, don't let him book flights. He's gotten
No,
progressively worse at it. It took us about 13 hours to get to a 4-hour.
Oh
destination.
man.
I feel you, Joe, but that
Like
was
2
There
layovers.
and back.
we were waiting for the car.
Layovers. We would get to the middle spot where we had to transfer to another plane and wait 6 hours.
Oh shit.
The next day, he made our flight from one place to the next, an hour and a half. And
Never
then
ending
the-
layover.
Right. Then that layover, bro, was literally like the next morning we got on the plane. It was
Oh,
fucking
man.
horrible.
All right, I
we
don't
did it
see
on
you
purpose.
looking
It
up
was an
prices
accident.
for the flight.
No, I'm not. That's why you do it, and I just go along with you, and we have fun.
That's funny.
I might need to do. Sorry, I meant to
So,
cut it short for
yeah.
me, but I might have to.
No, yeah, I think I'm good.
So to wrap it up, he is an idol, and fuck everyone who doesn't believe that. Bro, so, and I get where you guys are coming from.
Kid
This
wants to
whole
go to his
thing.
bed tonight. Pick me. I'd be that guy too, though. Not the bed part, but
Darren would elbow me in the face to get ahead of it.
he's going down. He ain't getting to the front of the line. I'm getting.
You guys are gonna be fighting to get in line. I'm already gonna be in the bedroom.
Bro, you kidding me? Oh my god. I'll bring all the candy. He'll love me.
Can either of you moonwalk?
No,
Oh, well.
not well. Okay.
Darren, can you move
No.
I got one dance move, and you know this.
the worm? And he does it every single
But he's
time.
doing the dice thing too much.
But,
That's funny as
I,
the word.
I do the worm well though. Like it's like when I break it out, it is well.
I'm gonna have to double check on that because I haven't seen you do it in a couple of years.
The worm.
I gotta say, he's good at it when he does it. People are like, "Oh shit," you know. But then Frank gets up. He's like, "Yo, my back is killing."
Yeah, well, because now I'm 33 and I've been doing this since I was younger, and I'm not younger anymore.
You gotta see him now. Sometimes he just looks like a fish out of a water, and he's just flopping around on the floor. Nah, he plays good though. All right. Well, I mean, that's it. That's Michael Jackson. We talked about it. Happy that we got this one out. Definitely go see the show on HBO on Broadway. Go check it out on Broadway. It's really good. I would definitely recommend that.
What's it called again?
I think it's just called Michael Jackson.
Oh, I thought there was like a title or something.
No.
Oh, all right.
I gotta also say one thing that I would like to post this maybe on the website. Well, it's really not a big whatever. In college for my last portfolio project, I had to do something with typography. So I made a double disc album of Michael Jackson, like all my favorite songs, and I edited a 52-page color book of like that would come with the lyrics and stuff in the CD double disc case. So it was really dope. I don't know why I'm telling you this now, but it was just.
I was just gonna say, what was the point?
I mean, you know,
That's just how much he loves him, everyone.
it was the thing. So, I know because I meant to say this before because he died in 2009. I had just graduated. I'm sorry, I was graduating, and that was my final portfolio piece. So it was really dope. Actually, the teacher loved it.
Oh, that's what's up.
So that's all. But anyways, I don't know.
Fine.
Would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye, gents. A pleasure as always. Hopefully, I could see you again for candy. If that'd be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
Darren's coming back for the candy episode.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
Can't
Like, I love it too because
We're gonna
everybody's like,
have a
"What?
fun
What is
episode
that?
with
What is that?" Well, you'll see.
That's happening. Thank you. I would be honored if I can come.
Thank you all for the likes, listens, shares, and follows. We appreciate your support. Check us out on YouTube.